Hi guys, it's Kim here and it's E3 week. So I thought I'd kickstart this week by running through my top 5 E3 predictions. Now these aren't in any particular order and they're by far nothing to do with like the hottest rumours going around. These are just things that I've picked out because I find these things important and I'm really interested in these games and what's going on at the moment. So without further ado, my first prediction is that I think these 3 games are going to be announced, and that is Beyond Good and Evil 2, Mirror's Edge 2 and Fallout 4. All 3 of these titles have been rumoured for ages, with various trademarks being registered and various weird bits of information popping up, from developer studios, which are driving conspiracy theorists mad.
We also have a couple of surprises up our sleeve.
All 3 developers have said that they are working on unannounced titles. So those studios are Ubisoft, DICE and Bethesda Game Studios. It just seems that about now is the right time to go ahead and tell us what those games are. But anyway, we'll see whether or not that rumour is true. I really hope it is. Moving on to the next one, and now this is one that I have ranted and raved about for the past year, and I'm hoping that now is the moment where I'm proved right. I think that Final Fantasy Versus 13 will re-emerge as Final Fantasy 15. Now, Final Fantasy Versus 13 has been missing in action since the last gameplay trailer released in 2011, and it was originally meant to be part of a trilogy released at the same time as Final Fantasy 13, hence the name Versus 13. But since 13 had quite the negative or polarizing reaction and Square Enix lost a lot of money, Versus 13 disappeared as the development team were pulled on to kind of do damage control for 13. I think they've always been working on it. Ex-CEO Yoichi Wada famously tweeted last year, "Oh, these rumors aren't true because, I just came out from a meeting about Versus 13." More importantly, take a look at the Agnes Philosophy tech demo that Square Enix showed off at last E3. Now that was to show what they could do on the PlayStation 4 and on the Xbox One. It looks fantastic, but if you compare the quality of the cutscenes with some of the cutscenes in Versus 13 from the last trailer that was released, the quality is on a par. And Square Enix aren't any strangers to really long development times. Final Fantasy 12 and Final Fantasy 13 took about 6 years each, and each of them built a brand new engine for a brand new console. And I think that's exactly what's going on here. PlayStation 4 is going to launch, Xbox One is going to launch, and Square Enix is going to be like, check this out, Final Fantasy 15, bam. But it's, Versus 13 reskinned. So that is one that I really, really hope is going to appear, and I'm so convinced I'm right. And also, I'd keep a close eye out for Kingdom Hearts 3. I think we're going to see it. So prediction number 3, Microsoft won't be any clearer about the Xbox One. Now, for those of you who tuned in to my live stream with Martin when the Xbox One reveal happened, you'll see that it was a bit of a disaster. Oh my gosh. They just talked about TV, they talked about their collaboration with the NFL, they talked about Halo becoming a TV series, and then they kind of glossed over the whole fact that Kinect would always be on, always be watching you. And they also kind of had a very confused message about whether or not the Xbox One would need to be connected to the internet at all times, and what that meant for trading in games, playing games at friends' house, what it meant about actually buying a game and whether the license belonged to you. And then even after the conference, no Microsoft execs or PRs seemed to say the same thing. Everyone was confused about what they could announce, what they couldn't announce. Nobody cleared anything up. Now, Microsoft will attempt to tackle this at their conference because they'd be stupid not to, but I honestly don't think that we'll be any the wiser of what the heck is going on with the Xbox.
The NFL on Xbox, just one more reason Xbox One is a must-have system for your living room.
Prediction number 4, on the flip side, I think Sony will actually reveal their console. So far we've seen that really blurry trailer. For the most part, I don't think it's going to look much different to a PlayStation 3. A little bit fancier, a few new bits and pieces, but I think they're going to stick with the classic, square shape. Also, I think that they might talk about price, and my guess is that the PlayStation 4 will sell for about £500, maybe a bit more, and perhaps games will be between 60 and 80 pounds, which is a lot. I also think that Sony will sort of gloss over the whole fact that perhaps the PlayStation 4 will need to be on all the time as well, and they've got some weird licensing DRM issues, but we'll see what happens with that. And finally, prediction number 5, well, we've talked about Microsoft and Sony, so prediction number 5 is Nintendo. Now, Nintendo aren't going to be at the E3 conference this year in the sense that they're not having their own dedicated conference like Sony and Microsoft. But what they are doing is their usual Nintendo Direct conference where they're just streaming it to everyone, which I think is fair enough. It's a good way, you know, Nintendo are all about talking straight to the fans. So perhaps E3 is no longer the best platform for them because it is very business centric. But basically, it's already been announced that Nintendo will have a big surprise at the end of their conference, and they always do. I'm hoping it will be a first look at the next Legend of Zelda game. That is my wildest hope. But I don't think it's going to happen because Zelda producer Eiji Onuma recently said he's taking his time with it and they're still in the conceptual phase. So I think it's unlikely that they will perhaps announce anything until they've got something concrete made and planned. You know, I'm fingers crossed, I'm hoping that might be it. More realistically, it's probably going to be Metroid Prime 4 or Bayonetta 2, which I think could be a pretty big announcement because Bayonetta, you know, quite gory, quite sexy, quite sassy. Not the usual title you think of when you think of Nintendo's family-friendly fan base. That's what I think the kind of big reveal at the end could be. And okay, so I said 5 predictions, but my secret one, my you know, 5B, is going to be one close to my heart, and I hope The Last Guardian returns. Now, this is the 3rd game by the creators of Ico and Shadow of the Colossus. The Last Guardian appeared, I think 2010 was the last time we'd heard anything of it. The studio have had, you know, financial troubles and development problems since then, but I'm hoping that they'll be back, and with a new PlayStation 4 Sony exclusive, it will come back. So please, crazy cat dog bird thing, please let us see you again. Okay, so those were my top 5 and a bit predictions. So we'll see how E3 week unfolds. I'm so excited to see what goes on and whether or not I'm right or wrong. At the end of the week, I'll do another video tallying up the scores, seeing how wrong I was. I'm hoping I at least got Final Fantasy right. That's the one I'm putting all my money on. So enjoy E3 week, enjoy all the announcements, and I'll see you at the end of the week. Bye!